Okay, we have to talk about what we just witnessed in the West Brom versus Brighton game. Hey guys, Fletch here bringing you another Fletch Talks video, and this video is going to centre around the controversial key event, apart from the goal of course, that took place in the West Brom versus Brighton game that took place this afternoon. It was a game in which West Brom were victorious. Kyle Bartley scored the only goal of the game in the first half. As the Baggies took a big 3 points and put that towards their relegation battle, shall we say, that they find themselves in right now. It was also a game in which Brighton missed 2 penalties, both by hitting the woodwork on both occasions. But the moment that overshadowed the entire game is the reason why this video is being made, and it occurred in the latter stages of the first half, particularly around the half-hour mark. Yep, the controversy this time surrounds English Premier League referees. What a surprise! And this time it centres around referee Lee Mason, who awarded a free kick to Brighton. It was initially taken quickly by Lewis Dunk and was scored by the defender. The goal seemed to be allowed to stand at first, as the referee pointed towards the halfway line, seeming to allow the goal to stand. But then VAR interfered and told Mason to check the goal on the pitchside monitors, in which he did. And it was there that Mason saw fit and heard that his second whistle that he blew seemed to occur before the ball had crossed the line, and it meant that the goal was chalked off and the free kick was retaken. So the chronological points to this event are as follows. The free kick is given. The referee blows his first whistle in order for play to continue and for the free kick to be taken. Dunk takes the free kick. The second whistle by Mason goes. The ball crosses the line for a seeming goal. And then it's chalked off. He checks VAR and it is chalked off. Now, you don't need me to tell you that this is an extremely controversial decision, and it's left many football fans across England baffled as to how poor a decision this is, and again adds to another layer of this constant debate we seem to be having every single week about refereeing incompetence. I think first of all, the question has to be asked as to why the referee blew the second whistle, and how come that he didn't check that everybody was ready to deal with the set piece on his first whistle. I don't understand why the ref would blow his whistle to resume play, and then afterwards notice that, I assume it's because he noticed the goalkeeper wasn't ready as to why he blew the second whistle. But why didn't he check that before blowing his first whistle? It's lazy and incompetent refereeing if this is the case, because we don't actually know the entire justification as to why they arrived at the decision that they did. And yet another example of poor refereeing, which, as I said earlier, is becoming more and more of a factor with each passing week. Secondly, I'd argue that if you give a free kick, that means it's an advantage to the team that's taking it, right? So to me, that should mean that with an advantage like that in your favour, you can take that free kick or take that advantage whenever you like, and it's up to the defending team to always be aware and to switch on to the possible threat at all times. But in this case, the first whistle has indeed gone for play to resume and play to continue, and therefore you should play on as normal. You're taught as kids, even at that lower level, that you should always play to the referee's whistle, and it's clear that the referee does blow the whistle for play to resume, and then he's blown it for a second time. Why he's blown it for a second time, like I say, is beyond me, but I can only assume it's because he checked after blowing the first whistle and saw that the goalkeeper was allegedly not ready. But I just don't get why. I don't get why you do that if the advantage is in the attacking team's favour and you've already blown the first whistle. And thirdly, there seems to be some sort of debate as to whether the ball had actually crossed the line or not before or after the referee's whistle. I haven't really found definitive proof as to whether it was or not, but the point is, if the whistle had gone after the ball had ended up in the back of the net, would that then have counted? And if so, does it now really matter whether the second whistle has gone or not? There was nothing any West Brom player could have done to stop that ball from going into the back of the net. There was absolutely nothing at the time of taking that free kick that they could have done about it. And they've received a get out of jail free card on this one from the referee because of how things have turned out. But the incompetence to allow play to continue, then try to stop play once you did, and then to make it worse, you initially allow the goal. You point towards the halfway line to say that the goal should be given, the goal is to be allowed. But then you go and check it on VAR because the VAR referee told you to do so. You check the free kick, you check whether the whistle had gone before or after the ball had crossed the line. And then you say to them to retake it. Again, it shifts the spotlight completely onto the referees. They take the spotlight once again on this matter and continues to just display how poor performances continue from these referees week after week. And I'll reiterate a point that I have spoken about on a few videos in the past and say that this is just another example that furthers this point. And I'm sure that a lot of other football fans have made this point as well. But I think it is time to have referees either come out after a game, like the players do in an interview, how they give their post-match thoughts and opinions or whatever. Have the referees do that after a game with these kind of moments in it to explain and justify their decisions like this. Or the alternative to that is they have to start wearing some sort of headset so that we can so that whether you're watching from home or you're watching in stadiums, when obviously fans are allowed to return to stadiums, that they can hear the conversations that are being taken place between the referee on the pitch and the referee that's currently sat watching everything on VAR, because that way we get a better insight and more of an understanding as to what goes into the decision making behind such decisions like this, and we can therefore come out with a reason as to why a scenario has played out the way it has done and why the result has ended up the way it has. The referee in this instance lost complete control here. He didn't know which way it was going. He had no idea, and in the end he made a decision, and ultimately, I believe it's proven to be the wrong one, and it doesn't reflect well on referees either. Like I said, as we all know, they go away from this game now. And seemingly nothing happens to them. There's no kind of repercussions. There's no consequences. There's no actions seemingly taken against them. They just move on. But for Brighton, it's possibly a point dropped. For West Brom, it's 3 points picked up that they may not have got otherwise. Because at the end of the day, we should be sat here right now and talking about how big and how massive a 3 points this is for West Brom and how big this could be towards their survival bid. But again, referee decisions have stolen the spotlight in this game, and whilst Brighton have had golden opportunities in this game to win it, whether it be the 2 penalties that arguably should have been taken or anything else that happened during the game, this was a definite goal. This was a certain goal that has possibly cost them, at the very least in this match, a point. And for all we know, as we know, these kind of games, these kind of decisions are what can hurt teams later down the line. You only have to go as far back as last season to know that. You only have to look at the game that happened between Sheffield United and Aston Villa, where United had the ball in the back of the net, and it possibly could have been 1-0 to the Blades on the night, and they could have gone through. But conveniently, goal line technology didn't pick it up. It wasn't working in that first half or whatever it was, and ultimately missed that goal. And as it came about, in the end, Villa took a point from that game, and ultimately it was a point that separated Villa from surviving to the relegation zone and ended up being in the Premier League for another season at the expense of Bournemouth. So we all know how these decisions can play out over time. It's just a shame it happened here, and another display of poor refereeing. But look, as I always say, these are just my thoughts and my opinions on this particular topic. I want to know what you guys think. What did you make of the game? What do you make of the controversial decision from the referee? Was the referee right to pull the play back to have Brighton retake their free kick, or should he have allowed the goal to stand? Where do you stand on the VAR debate? What about their interference in this matter? What about the referee Lee Mason? I'd love to know your thoughts, comments and opinions down below in the comment section. I'm sure they'll all make for interesting reading. Otherwise, hit the like button on the way out if you enjoyed the video. Subscribe if you're new or want to see more content like this. Both things will be greatly appreciated. And as always, thank you all so much for watching and listening. I've been Fletch. This has been another Fletch Talks video, and I will see and speak with you all again soon in another video.